everybody. Good evening, and welcome to GH Gospel Radio, and welcome to your show, Let's Talk Marriage. Tonight's program is a pretty quick one. I know a lot of you may have ideas, but we've titled it The Essential Agreements in Marriage. And we would all think that the major agreement that you need to have is to agree to get married, right? But we realize that there are some things that often cause contentions in marriage. And if you're not able to sit down and agree on it and stick to it, it becomes a problem that keeps happening. It becomes an issue that keeps popping up that will keep dragging you back and forth. So tonight we're going to discuss those things that are essential for you to agree on and stick to, so that your marriage would be the better for it. Because without an agreement in these areas, there will always be issues coming up time after time after time after time. So let's know what you think. Let's know whether you agree or not. Bring your questions, share your ideas, and let's have a fruitful discussion. Okay, so let's start off. You know, most of the time, opposites attract. And when we say opposites attract, you can, it's in the area of maybe personalities, or like how you save money, what your options are, what your preferences are, what your backgrounds are. And a lot of times when you meet somebody and you want to get married, you're attracted to the things that you don't have, the things that you are not familiar with. Those are the things that usually excite you and attract you. So it's more likely that you get married to somebody who doesn't share the same preferences as you. That is why it's important that you tackle some essential topics, some essential agreements. And once you are talking about it, it's not talking about it for the sake of talking about it. It's talking about it for the sake of both of you being on the same page, so that it does not become an area that you will keep fighting over, that will keep bringing disagreement. That helps you to understand each other, even when that may not be your preference. But as long as you agree to it, you cooperate, so that the marriage will be more blissful and both of you will be satisfied. The first area that I want to talk about is money. And the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil, right? But that aside, people have different attitudes towards money. Some people like to save a lot. Some people like to spend because they know they're going to make new money the next day. So it is important that as a married couple, you agree on what you're going to do with your money. And most of the time, you may not be earning the same amount of money, but it's still important that as a couple, your money is however you decide to administer it. The most important thing is that you should be able to make an agreement about your money and then stick to it. However you decide to spend your money, it's your business. But there should never be a case where one person does not know what is going on about the finances and the other person is making all the financial decisions. Whatever the two of you agree to do, it should be something that you both have a voice in, and then you can execute it. We've talked about money on this platform before. We've said that some couples like to keep separate bank accounts, and then one partner, depending on how much they're earning, will take care of certain bills, and then the other partner will also take care of other bills, depending on how much they are both earning. So maybe the one who earns more may pay for more of the bills, and the one who earns less may cover the other aspects of the bills, so that both of them will have something left over to be able to do whatever they like with it. It's always good for a couple to have their personal money, so that if one person spends a lot, he or she can feel free to do whatever she likes or whatever he likes with the money that is left over that is theirs to spend. And if one person likes to save a lot, They can just save and save and save and save and save until they have a lot of money in their accounts. Having personal money makes any couple have flexibility. So after agreeing on who is going to take care of what bills, whatever is left, you are able to use it as you please. And that is nice. There are other couples who like to bring all their monies together, have one joint bank account, all their salaries go into that account, and then they give each other allowances. Maybe both of them will take the same amount, 400 for you, 400 for me. And then I use my 400 for whatever I like. You use your 400 for whatever you like. But whatever else is in the joint account, we all use it for bills, for projects, for everything for the family. That also works. So whichever route you choose to take, it's important that both of you agree to it. A lot of times, many couples will say that women like to shop a lot. So even when there's no money in the house, the women will be using the money to shop. And sometimes the women will be saying men like to buy expensive items. So even when they are not shopping for a lot, when they buy one item, a lot of money has been used up. Usually when the two of you are able to sit down and agree on what and how you're going to administer your money, it prevents all these misunderstandings. It helps you to know what to expect. And at least with the small amount of money that comes into your pocket as your personal money, you can choose to do whatever you like to do. What's important is that both of you are transparent with your earnings. There's been sayings that some women think that whatever they earn is theirs, but whatever the husband earns is for the whole family. Obviously, that is unfair. And I know that some of the cliches we keep hearing, many of them are not true. But the point that we are trying to make here today is that every couple should sit down, be transparent about their money, and decide how they are going to spend it. Is it that they want to put it together in a joint account that everybody sees what's going on? Or they want to have separate accounts and then share the bills so that everybody takes care of what they're supposed to take care of and keep the family running? But whichever route that you choose to take, it's always important that everybody has a fixed amount that they can keep for themselves, no matter how small it is, so that whoever likes to spend more can just go and spend their small amount however they want. And whoever likes to save money can keep saving their money however they want. And that small amount of money that each partner has for themselves gives them room to be able to take decisions without consulting the other person, because after all, it's your personal money on the side. And that is money you don't account for to anybody. That is money that is yours to keep. But the key word here, agree, have that, is that money issues are an essential agreement in marriage. Because if you don't agree on those money issues, it will keep coming up. There'll always be fights. There'll always be disagreements. One person is going to feel cheated. It's going to bring all kinds of trouble. So as soon as possible, if you're newly married, just sit down, get on the same page about your money. Whatever you agree to, stick to it, and make sure you're both being transparent and you both are sticking to what you agreed on, and try to have a little bit of money, personal money, to give you that flexibility that you need. Please don't forget, it's very, very essential to agree on your money and to be transparent about your money. That is very, very important. And let me add this here, that sometimes one partner may not be working, and then the other partner may be working. And when it happens like that, the other partner who is not working outside the home, they may be taking on a lot of the responsibilities of taking care of the children, doing other stuff. That does not mean that the money that comes in is for the one who works. It doesn't work like that. Family is a team, because if it is to work like that, then you have to split everything down the middle so that you will both have the time to go make equal money so that everybody gets to keep their money. But you realize that this is not going to help. And oftentimes, this is not the best arrangement for the family, because if the focus is how much money each one is bringing, and the focus is not how best the family is going to survive, that is going to bring an imbalance in the family. So whatever it is that you want to do, let's not forget money is essential in marriage. Make sure you've had a discussion, you make an agreement, both of you have an input, you're transparent about it. And whatever you decide to do, both of you need to stick to it, because it's tempting. Money issues can be tempting. You may want to spend money that you know you've agreed you're not going to spend. Whatever you've agreed to, stick to it. No matter what somebody else comes to say, your family is first. Make sure that money matters are essentially agreed on and not left to the imagination. Okay, I think we've said enough. Let's move on. Hello, Auntie Vivian. It's nice to see you. It's been a while. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes. The other thing that you need to make sure you agree on is the number of children you're going to have. This issue is huge. This issue is very, 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 very huge. Sometimes when you get married, you assume that, oh, once we get married, we can have as many children as we want, blah, blah, blah. But you never know what's going to happen with children, right? We know that, we know that it is God who gives children. But just so we don't leave everything to chance, it's important that you agree on how many children you want to have. Some people want a lot of children, 4, 5, 6. Some people want just 2. I don't know if anybody just wants 1 kid, because oftentimes when a child has a sibling, it's healthier for their development, right? But whichever way, if your partner wants 6 children and you want 2 children, it's important that you sit down and agree. Maybe you'll be able to talk them into accepting your number. Maybe the partner who wants to, the other one is able to explain to them and talk to them, and they agree that, okay, I know you want to, but because of this and this, let's have 6. As long as you are able to agree on the number of children that you want to have, it's important that you stick to it. And if you wanted to, and now you've come to agree that, okay, let's have 6, understand that you agree to it. Maybe if along the line something happens that is making that impossible, of course, you can always come back and change your mind. But it's important that you agree on the number of children that you want to have, so that even before you start working on having children, you know what your goal is. There's been instances of some people accidentally getting pregnant because they want more children than the other person wants. Somebody could even intentionally refuse to use birth control so that they can get pregnant, and then it becomes an issue. If you are not able to agree on the number of children you want to have, and then you try to spring children on the other partner, it can create problems down the line. And you should know that children have 2 parents for a reason. God designed it that way. So as you are having a child, you cannot make that decision by yourself, because it takes 2 to take care of children. So if you want 6 and the other partner does not want 6, it is very unfair for you to impose your wants on the other person, because you expect them to be there with you. You expect them to also take part in raising these children. And if you spring on them a number that they are not comfortable with, or if you spring on them like too few, and then they want more, it's not going to be like harmonious in your family. So it's important that you sit down and agree, even before you start having children, that we want God to bless us with 2 children, or we want God to bless us with 3 children, or we want God to bless us with 4 children. If anything happens and you're not able to have 4, of course, it's not your fault. But at least you should both be on the same page about children. And one person should not intentionally, accidentally get pregnant and spring it on the other person. They know the other person doesn't want more children, but they do want it, so they will force it on the other person. This is very, very unfair, and it can keep bringing problems in your marriage. And don't forget that children don't have a return policy. You can't return the children once you've had them. So it's important that you make up your mind how many you want to have, so that God can bless you with them. And also, after deciding how many children you want to have, you should remember that birth control does not happen by accident. If you're trying to have 2 children, once you've had those 2 children, talk to your doctor and find an effective way of preventing more children. Because if you sit down and hope and pray that you don't get pregnant again, most of the time it's not going to work. There are many, 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 many surprise babies walking this. So if you are sure it is 2 you want, make sure you talk to your doctor and find an effective birth control method that works for you. Don't leave it to chance, because you could be having so many more children than you bargained for. Children are a blessing, and it's also important that you plan all your children so that your life will be more successful and harmonious. So please try to have an agreement as to the number of children you're trying to have. And whilst on the subject of children, it's important to also be able to talk to your partner about how you want to raise these children. Some people believe in soft life, as in don't shout on your children, don't yell at your children, and be gentle with them. There's this thing called gentle parenting. And a lot of times we see that people like to endorse what they grew up with. So if you know how your partner's upbringing is, you need to be able to talk to them about it. See if it's something that you like or something that you would want to see in your home. Then you can have a discussion and be like, well, this is how I was raised, and this is how I would like to raise my children. What do you think? What do you want? So that you'll be able to share ideas and come to a compromise. A lot of times we leave these discussions out because it doesn't even occur to you that it might be an issue. But trust me, there are a lot of homes that discipline is a point of contention. One partner does not like the way the other partner disciplines the children, and because of that, it's all kinds of trouble. And children need discipline no matter what. No child is born a saint and can grow by themselves without being disciplined. The job of parents is to discipline children and teach them and protect them and help them grow. However you want to do that, it's important that you agree on it. So that if you're raising your children and you realize that's not what you want, you've already talked about it, and it's easier for you guys to be able to come back to your agreement. Agree how you want to raise your children so that there are no surprises, because it can also be a way of constant conflict in your marriage. So we've talked about money. We said money is an essential agreement. We've talked about kids. How many children you want to have is an essential agreement. Don't try to force extra kids or fewer kids on your partner just because of your preferences. It's important that you talk and then you agree on where you're going to go with the number of children. And whilst you're at it, it's also important that you discuss how you want to raise the children. And it will be easier for you to bring it up because it's important that you each check the backgrounds of your partner, know what it is they are used to, and be able to decide, is this what we want in our home? Do we want to continue this, or we want to make changes? You or your partner may have been through it and seen how it affected you. So if it worked best for you and you want to continue it, good to go. But if it didn't work for you and you want different, it's okay to agree with your partner what it is that you want, so that you can have a harmonious family. Okay. So let's talk about the next essential agreement that you should have. In-laws. 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 It's important that the two of you discuss how you're going to treat your in-laws. Find a method that works for you so that there will be no surprises and there will be no excesses. Some families are really close, and when you get married, they would still want to follow their family member into the home. They want to move and come and live with you for 1 month, and then it will turn to 2 years or 10 years. Some families are not that close-knit. They do not like staying in each other's homes for long. However it is that you want to treat in-laws, it's important that you talk about it. I know of a family that they were having issues, and then the woman went to bring her mom to come and live with them because they felt that the mom was alone and needed care. And the husband did not agree to it because, in effect, it became like a ganging up situation. And because of that, the marriage that was already having issues, the issues became worse, and that became the catalyst for the divorce that they had eventually. It's not fair that one person's family gets to impose on the marriage, because the Bible says that a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife. You need that kind of separation from your family of origin to be able to build the new family that you have. But that doesn't mean that you're going to cut off your family completely. And that doesn't also mean that your house is going to be filled all year round with in-laws. Whatever that you need, whatever that both of you are comfortable with, it's important that you sit down, talk about it, and agree. Don't go bring your family member to come live in your home without your partner's agreement. It will lead to cracks in your marriage. It will affect the atmosphere in your home. If there are alternatives, you need to take it. But most importantly, whatever you're doing, sit down and agree with your partner that this is what we are agreeing to and this is what we are going to do. Because in-laws have been a source of pain and contention for many marriages. So it's essential that you agree on what you're going to do for your in-laws. And whatever you agree on should cut both ways. Once you have agreed, you make sure you stick to the plan. So another essential agreement to have in your marriage is on in-laws, how long they can stay with you and how you want to treat your in-laws. And whilst we are on the subject, it's also important to mention that your in-laws should not have undue influence in the marriage. The marriage is between husband and wife, not husband and in-laws. In-laws are part of the family, but they are not the ones to impose on the family. The agreement is between the two of you. If your matter doesn't need to go to in-laws, sit down and agree. If you want all your matter to be with in-laws, sit down and agree. Whatever you agree on, that's what you do. Hello, Mami Nikwe. You're welcome. We've been talking about essential agreements in marriage, the things that you need to discuss early on and agree on so that your marriage will be more harmonious and peaceful. And we've already talked about money. We've talked about children, how many you want to have and how you want to raise them. And now we've mentioned in-laws, how you're going to treat in-laws. And we said that whatever you agree on, that may not be your initial preference, but as you talk about it and you come to a conclusion, you come to an agreement, it's important that both of you stick to the plan so that you'll be taking care of each other's preferences in whatever you agreed on. So the next essential agreement to have in marriage is religion. It's religion. For Christians, we believe that you cannot be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. So whoever you are marrying, it's important that they are born again. And it's sad to say that some people who are not born again may even have a nicer character than some people who are born again. But whoever you are marrying, it should not be like being born again should be very essential to you. If it's not, that's your choice. And of course, being an adult gives you the audacity to make your own choices and live with the consequences of your actions, right? But it's important that you agree on who you serve, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whichever religion that you belong to. It's important that the two of you are in agreement, because sometimes it's quite a source of contention if both parents belong to separate religions, because every religion comes with their own norms and their own practices and their own demands. And when children come in, sometimes it's a source of confusion for them. It's important that the family is able to stay together. And religious values are huge values to have in the home and in the family. You cannot have separate religious values. What are you going to teach your children? What are you going to live by in the home? If you have two separate values to live by, obviously there's going to be confusion, there's going to be a source of contention, and your children are not going to benefit much from that kind of environment. So it's essential that the two of you agree on religion. Some people will be like, well, we don't believe in anything. We're just two good people, or we're just two regular people who like each other. So we're just going to go ahead and get married. Well, if both of you don't agree, don't believe in anything, well, that is also one part of agreement. It's like, okay, you both belong to the same side. You don't believe in anything. But whichever way you go, make sure that your religious beliefs are the same, so that when you get married and when children come in, you can both be a family. You cannot be someone who doesn't like to go to church, and then your wife is born again and very active in church. Every time she has to go to church, there might be an issue. If she goes to church and there's something that she has to be involved in, it could bring issues. What about if you, the man, you are very much religious, you go to church a lot, and your wife doesn't want to go to church? It's important that the two of you belong to the same religion so that you can have the same set of values. And then when your children come in, you can have the same values to raise them and also to be able to agree and keep the family unit together. So this is where we're going to end this discussion for today, the essential agreements in marriage. We did say that it's important to have an agreement about money. It's important to have an agreement about children, how many and how you're going to raise them. It's important to have agreements about in-laws, how you want your in-laws to be involved in your home. And whatever it is, just agree on it. Make sure that everybody's views is captured. And the last one we talked about is religion. make sure you're on the same side when it comes to religion. Without these agreements, you will have continued conflicts. Things will keep coming up back and forth. And when you realize that you don't agree in all these four areas, if you are not married yet, it may be important that you take a step back and reconsider your decision, because these areas are not areas that you can disagree on and still have peace and harmony in your home. So if you feel like you don't even agree on these areas, it might be better for you guys to go find other people who share the same values as you do in these essential areas. Because if you don't fix it before you get married, you will have constant disharmony and you have constant source of conflict. Maybe you're married, you didn't agree before. It's never too late to go back and revisit this conversation so that you're able to come to a point where you have agreed on something and that you are ready to work with it. So if you're watching this, if you watch it later, you can put your questions in the comments. We will get to it and we will answer your questions. But I hope that you learned a thing or two today. And we hope to see you again, God willing, 6 p.m. Central Time next Sunday. And as we always say here on Let's Talk Marriage, it takes a good Christian to have a good Christian marriage. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.